Hi, I'm Rob from the Bob Sphere, and I did it. I finished Gravity's Rainbow, actually, a week ago. But I finished Gravity's Rainbow. Now, I'm trying to still recollect my thoughts. I did write a blog post about it, though. Okay, so first of all, it took me about 3, 4 months to read. I started October, November, 3 months. End of September, 3 months. Yeah, it was not an easy read. But once I got used to it, things started making sense. Now, in this sort of chatty video, I'm going to talk about. Let's keep on holding the book. So, I'm going to talk about what the book's about, how to approach the book, and what it means to me. Yeah, and what to expect when you read this book in any order. So, okay. So, first of all, Pynchon's this book. See, I'm trying to recollect my thoughts again. Okay, let's start with the more obvious things. Okay, it is not an easy read. Pynchon's style is dense. Sometimes tenses change. Sometimes, even, in one case, these two lab rats have a conversation within a paragraph. And you don't even know that. You have to reread it in order to understand. You say, oh, how come suddenly the tense changes and there are these New York and Brooklyn accents in the paragraph about someone walking by in a laboratory? Things like that. Situations change like that. Again, you have to reread, and they say, okay, now it's making sense. So yeah, it's like a huge, puzzle. But Pynchon is not a cruel writer, and you can see that in his other books as well. He is not a cruel writer. He drops clues. Sometimes there's an impenetrable scene, but he does repeat it in an easy way later on in the book. He gives most of the characters backstories, but not instantly. Again, for example, there's one character whose backstory we find out towards the end of the book. So it's like that. It's also, though, a very zany book. It's crazy. There are very, very, very funny bits in it. Like, for example, one character tries wine gums for the first time. Another one is walking and his foot gets stuck in a toilet. Yeah, there's a lot of children, childish level humor. There's one bit where these characters are climbing a rope and one person just breaks wind and he says it's a bomb. Things like that happen. Also, there are quite a few gratuitous sex scenes, and one very controversial one, which I am definitely not going to go into here. I could see why the Pulitzer people were a bit when they read that. It's quite shocking. So, I gave a kind of outline on the style of the book. What about the plot? Deep breath. Okay, so the main plot is about a character called Tyrone Slothrop, and a group of scientists find out that every time he has sex, a missile falls. And then we discover that he was conditioned that way. So, in order to create a distraction, the scientists tell Slothrop to go on a mission to find out the ingredients of a super bomb, which Slothrop does. And he goes into a million and one distractions. There's one bit where he has to deliver some dope to people, some marijuana. There's another bit where he goes into a pie fight in a balloon. There's one bit where he gets seduced by a spy, and she ends up taking his clothes and he runs up a tree. There's a weird chase, almost a Looney Tune style chase in a factory, the war factory, and it also travels. There are also some other subplots. So I'm not going to really go into them. It goes through most of Europe, I would say. And there's one bit though about a fake African commando course, commando squad as well. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. But again, that's just a superficial plot description. What's it about? Okay, I saw it as the futility of war, how people suffer during war, how man is heading towards death. Pynchon also believes in entropy, which means the state of chaos, and there's a lot of that in here. It's very chaotic as a book. All his books are. This is most chaotic. And though, what else could you say? It's also about, being an American in England, because it talks about different mentalities as well. It talks about science versus feelings, and science as a form of mathematics, because there's one character who's a Pavlovian and another one is a statistician, and they argue. Then there are chunks devoted to nuclear science as well, and they aren't that bad. They're just a little bit of a slog. Now, did I get bored at bits? No, I will genuinely say I did not get bored once. Definitely not. Yes, there are pieces that puzzled me, but after rereading them, they made sense. I think I said in a previous video, my trick was that I only read 10-15 pages a day, and that was fine. And I went through the book, and there was a little bit of a rush I wouldn't say a rush. When at the last 50 pages, I said, okay, screw it, let's read it all in one go. I did. It's very meta in its own way as well. But again, all of Pynchon's books have this meta quality. So. Is it the best place to start with if you've never read Pynchon before? No, absolutely not. Do not make this your first Pynchon. This is like diving in the end of a swimming pool when you have no knowledge of how to swim. This can be too much at times. That's if there's a criticism. Yet, it's great. You can feel its greatness. You can feel this is something monumental. Again, I saw some comparisons. It was also a sort of book of its time as well. I saw elements of Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Catch-22, a lot of that. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest as well. That Richard Brautigan. Yeah, I could see elements of that too. So it does kind of concur with the hippie, destructo American kind of vibe as well. Now, there are other YouTubers who have gone into great detail about this, but I personally like to keep things short. I don't like to go over 20 minutes talking about a book. I don't like boring my audience. Plus, my slow way of speaking, and sometimes with the gaps, I think it makes it worse. But anyway, now how did I feel about this book? Well, I thought it was magnificent. It was brilliant. It's awesome, as in not awesome. It's something huge. Like Moby Dick. I read Moby Dick earlier this year, and I had the same feeling. This is something great. There'll be nothing like this in the world. It's a totally unique book. It's up there with, like I said, Moby Dick. Also, I would say Duck's Newbury Report. It's one of those huge novels that really strike you. And yet criticize as well and open your eyes. I'd be a snob if I say it's not for everybody, but you do have to train yourself to read this. And I'm not saying I'm the ultimate Pynchon, the ultimate person. This was my second reading after a disastrous first one. And I will read it again, and I know I will get something new. And I'll probably read it again, and I know I'll get something new. It's that type of book. You can't read it once or twice. You have to read it a lot. And that's when it's probably more elements start to unfold. Now I have a very good grasp of the plot, and I know what happens, and I know all the funny moments. So in a way, it's the bits in between which I'll probably focus on when I read this again, whenever. Oh, by the way, did I pronounce his name properly? It's Thomas Pynchon, not Thomas Pynchon. That's how it's pronounced, Pynchon. Also, though, because I read this, I also read two other of Pynchon's work. I read Crying of Lot 49, which I found stunning, but that will be my wrap-up, and Slow Learner. And at the moment, I am reading Vineland. It's good. It's good. It's along the same lines as Crying of Lot 49 and Inherent Vice. Anyway, have you read Gravity's Rainbow? Let's put it up again. Have you read Gravity's Rainbow? What did you think of it? If you want to discuss it, I would love to, because I haven't had a discussion yet about this. I've only written a blog post. Okay, that's enough. 10 minutes of me rambling about Pynchon. See you. Bye. To the next video.